Hello and welcome to MTV. In today's episode, I'll be continuing my Jazz Marble career mode. I hope you enjoy. So, if you didn't see the last episode, then I advise you check this out. But we did the jousting and the relay. Of course, a very good episode for us, especially with the win in the jousting. That's very much helped climb us up forward, now into a 6th position and not that far for the lead for the championship. Of course, our Rangers in the lead by a decent amount. And Balls of Chaos and Crazy Cat's Eyes very close behind. So before we jump into the events we'll do today, which are the hurdles and block pushing, we will check our messages. So, which team coach got fired after poor performance in Marble League 19? That's the Oceanics. In 2021, the hurdle event format was changed from passing on a flip gate to jumping over a fence. We are asking each team to focus on which format we prefer. Probably I do like the jumping over the fence. Certain team members are getting quite tired, so we don't have that much cash, so we will go for a cheaper option and give them £100 for physiotherapy, which should help. And pick the other that feels a lack of motivation. Well, we only have 300 money right now, and I don't actually have much gold left in my bank because my game was reset recently, which was why I had to restart this season. So, of course, we have hurdles and block pushing. For hurdles we need speed, and block pushing we need 4 of our members to have good strength. So we will be looking to see who our top 4 highest strengths are, and whether we can, or whether we have a good speed marble here. So far I do think Jeff has some pretty good speed, 99%, so I should do as well. He's also 100% strength, and I do believe Tom is also 100% strength, and we have both Lord Palmer's son and Bob with 75% strength, so those are the marbles we'll most likely use for block pushing. I'm not sure whether we will decide to go for a training session this episode, as I'll see where we at after the hurdles, but we have I do believe it was Jeff here in a good position to go and do the hurdle event for us. So let's jump into the hurdles. So if you don't know what the hurdles are, it's just quite similar to the 5-meter sprint, but you have to go and do these small little jumps, and that does slow you down a bit, as you can see here. So current record for this is 8.244 by the Cobalts. Let's see, will anyone get close? So far we have Cobalts, Crazy Cat's Eyes, Rojo Rolls, and Shining Swarm. Of course, Crazy Cat's Eyes and Shining Swarm quite high up in the championship so far, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes and Shining Swarm will go through into the next round. We'll spot 2 guests eliminated, top 2 into the next round there. So Cobalts and Rojo Rolls eliminated. Next up, Hornets, Sarah Speeders, Oceanics, and the Yarbles. Here, I don't think any of them are particularly high. Of course, Yarbles the only team to so far be in our career mode, which isn't a proper real life marble team, but a fantasy one for our career mode. And I do believe Sarah Speeders and Oceanics have got through, with the Hornets and the Yarbles being knocked out. So now we're up against the Balls of Chaos, Midnight Wisp, and Team Primary. So, as I said before, we are going to put Jeff in, as he has the highest speed of anyone, and therefore will have the best chance. He also has pretty good stats for everything else, like motivation, health, and tiredness, which will come in. We're up against Team Primary, Balls of Chaos, Midnight Wisp. Of course, Balls of Chaos are quite high in the championship and won last season's championship, but so far we're very far at the back alongside Balls of Chaos, and we are eliminated with the Balls of Chaos. But still a pretty decent time there, and only missing out on 3rd position by 0.02 there. Team Primary and the Wisps will go through. So now it's next round, Snowballs, Green Ducks, O-Rangers, and the Limes. Of course, O-Rangers leading the championship. They have won 1 championship so far in our career mode, and so have the Snowballs, and both of those teams will go through with the Limers and the Green Ducks being knocked out. As we see 9 down till 16th, we're in a decent 12th position there. So now into the semi-finals, Shining Swarm, Crazy Cat's Eyes, Shadow Speeders, and the Oceanics. Of course, some very big names in terms of the championship here, and I do think Shining Swarm and Oceanics will go for. Of course, Shining Swarm last season did tie with the Bulls of Chaos for the championship, but Bulls of Chaos ended up winning as they had more medals, but the Shining Swarm will be able to go through here alongside the Oceanic, Crazy Cat's Eyes, and Shadow Speeders knocked out. Next up, Team Primary, Midnight Wisp, Snowballs, and Rangers. Let's see what can these teams do here. Of course, Team Primary right at the bottom of the table, with only 19 points, I do believe. And it's a close battle between the Midnight Wisp and Rangers. See who gets through. It's very close between this and Rangers. And the Rangers just about to get through by 0.003 seconds, right by the skin of their teeth, as we see all the positions 5 till 16th. So, of course, the Midnight Wisp fast after eliminated teams, Savage Speeders, the slowest. So now, into the final, Oceanic, Shining Swarm, Snowballs, and Rangers. Who will win here? Of course, Rangers and Shining Swarm very high up in the championship. If Rangers do go on to win this, it'll be very good for their championship. Let's see, so far Rangers out in the lead, but Shining Swarm is going through very quickly. It's going to be very close, but I think Shining Swarm might have just picked them on the line, and they do just about beating the Rangers with the Snowballs running at the podium, and the Oceanics coming in 4th position. So pretty big for both the Rangers and the Shining Swarm, helping them push a bigger gap between the rest of their rivals. As you see, both of those teams able to get past the 100 mark, with Rangers at 119 and Shining Swarm at 103. The Rangers have a pretty decent lead so far. Then we have Bulls of Chaos, Crazy Cat's Eyes dropping down to 3rd and 4th. And then from the Oceanics, down to the Midnight Wisp, all keeping their same positions, including us, who we stay in 6th position, but we are tied with the Hornets and Midnight Wisp, so we're definitely looking out for them in the next events. Then the Snowballs, with their first medal of the season, they jump up into 9th. Then Green Ducks, Cobalts, Rojo Rollers, Savage Speeders, Yarbles, Limers, and Team Primary still in last position. So now, before we go into the block pushing event, we will check our messages. So Pit the Elder feels a lack of longevity. So, as I said before, we don't have much cash, and if we were going to spend it, it'll be on a training session, depending on what our Marbles' strengths are. And Lord Palm's son is down on motivation, and the same with that one. So, we'll leave the message center and jump into the locker room. Let's see where are our strengths at. So, 78, 57, 100, 100, and 71. This is decent, and looking at the next events, we have the triathlon and steeplechase, and then sand mogul. So a few speed events coming up, so I will yet again check for any marbles with decent speed. Jeff here is 100, so I think we won't need a training session for now, and we'll just jump into the block pushing event. Of course, so if you don't know what block pushing is, you have each 4 teams lined up, and you have to try and push your block as far along as possible. As you can see here, the current record, so of course your 2 best scores get added together to set the record, and the record is 153 by us. So let's jump into it. Team Primary and the Yarbles, I think, using their jokers. So we have Cobalts, Crazy Cats, Rollers, and Shining Swarm. Of course, Shining Swarm quite high up in the battle for the championship, but Rangers on pretty decent form there. And so far, out of the first of the 4 heats for these 4 teams, the Crazy Cat's Eyes going the furthest with 59, just missing out on the 60 there. Into the next round, let's see what can these teams do. Rohirros now, it seems, going the furthest. They'll also get past 60 with the Rock'n'Rolls and the with the Cobalts and Crazy Cat's Eyes. As you can see there, only Shining Swarm not getting past the 50 mark so far. Into the third heat. Let's see what can they do here. Crazy Cat's Eyes does seem going quite far. I think that might just about reach the 70 and or just about missing out by less than a centimetre, but they do have a pretty good overall score. Into these 4 teams' last heat. Let's see what can they do. Any large pushes coming in from anyone. Crazy Cat's Eyes and Cobalt's going far. A very decent length by Crazy Cat's Eyes. That's going to be a solid 140 with the Rock'n'Rolls and Cobalts also improving their scores with Shining Swarm in last position. Of course, Shining Swarm are quite tight in the championship, so it isn't looking great for them, especially if our Rangers can do well into the next league. We have Yarwolves, Oceanics, Savage Speeders, and the Hornets. What can these teams do here? Very close between everyone so far, but I do think everyone, part of the Hornets, get past the 60 mark, so into the second heat now. Let's see what can these teams do. Decent hit by the Yarwolves and the Savage Speeders there. They both get very close to 65. Savage Speeders going past 65 already. A decent total for both of these teams with still 2 heats to go for them to improve. Let's see what can they do. The Savage Speeders, they are going quite far, again breaking the 65, and another improvement up to 132. Of course, the Crazy Cat's Eyes did do quite well with a 148, I believe, so the Savage Speeders have one more run to try and beat that. Will they be able to do it, or will the Crazy Cat's Eyes stay on top? Hornets and Savage Speeders both doing well, with both of them going past the 70. Hornets nearly going past 75, but it won't be. And the Crazy Cat's Eyes will remain on top. Savage Speeders, Hornets sitting into 3rd and 4th. Then the Yarwolves and Oceanic 6th and 7th. So into the next group of teams, it's us, Midnight Wisp, Bulls of Cavs, and Team Primary. So as I said before, we will go with the Jeff, Lord Parmesan, Tom and Bob, as they all have the highest strength stats, and of course you need strength to push heavy blocks. It's very much a strength event here, so let's see what can we do. Will we be able to get a decent result or a more medium range result? So far, Bulls of Cast doing quite well. Of course, they are in 3rd position, I do believe. And yes, a 75 by them. We will get past the 6 mark, decent score by 67. So into the next heat. Now, of course, we will move across our lanes by 1 position, just to make sure we get a go at each lane. This time, Midnight Wisp and Team Primary doing well. As you can see there, Midnight Wisp breaking the 70 mark as we set our first 2-run score as a 1 first. Of course, we want to try and beat 148, so we have to find 18 centimetres of improvement during these next 2 runs, but that is a very good push by us past the 75, and that will be a very good position. Now we're 5 centimetres off the leading score, and okay from everyone else, only Team Primary, the only other team to break the 60 barrier into the next round here. So we will let's see whether we can into the last round now. The Bulls are casting quite well. They will get past the 70, but I don't think we improved there, with the Bulls of Cast actually jumping past us. We come in 3rd position, but most of the teams have already gone, so this is looking decent for us there. And the Midnight Wisp and Team Primary are getting 135 and 133, slotting them in the middle of the field. So into the final heat, Snowballs, Green Ducks, Rangers and Limers. Of course, our Rangers doing quite well so far. Of course, not the only orange coloured marble to be doing well. Of course, if you watch the Marble Rally, Ghost Plasma is doing quite well. But back onto this here, the Rangers are leading by not a great score. No one able to beat the 60, and of course in the first round from our heats everyone beat the 60, so still they do win, but let's see what can they do here. Snowballs and Rangers this time they do reach the 60, and Orange is able to get 66.5, provisional score for 125, but they do have 2 rounds to go, and they will definitely be looking for some improvement. We go into the penultimate round here. This time the Green Ducks doing well, of course, host of last season's Marble League. They get a 66, where the Rangers not able to improve, and but they are still leading this group, and of course championship leaders, so they're going to need to find an incredible push here if they want to keep on par with the Bulldogs and Crazy Cat's Eyes, who are doing quite well this event, and I do not think they have done it. A 61 there, and that means that they will have the highest score of this heat by only 127, which puts them in 10th position, so really poor heat from them there, but still Shining Swarm in last position. So as we see the podium here, we get yet another podium with the Bulls Cats and Crazy Cats. Of course, those two teams quite high in the standings. Of course, Crazy Cat's Eyes making a return for this season after they got knocked out in the first season. Bulls Cats, who are currently the defending champions, so as they do for the championship. And Rangers stay at the top, but the Crazy Cat's Eyes jump over both the Bulls of Chaos and the Shining Swarm. We advance into 5th position, Ocean dropping back to 6th, then the Midnight Wisp, Hornets, Snowballs, Kobolds, Green Knights, Savage Speeders, Rojo Rollers, Yarballs, Team Primary, and the Limers in last position. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this today's video. Remember to like and subscribe. Now see you in the next one. Bye.